First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Bashem, Makakwadash. Yahweh is who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushua is who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Bahashim means in the name, Rokah means spirit, and Qudash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And I'm not sure what I'm going to tell this video, but I wanted to go into, Revelation in the 8th chapter and break down what is it talking about when it talks about a star called Wormwood. The reason I'm making this video is because I held camp today, and there's this one, older Puerto Rican guy that came up that, I'd be chopping it up with him. He'd be understanding a lot of the scriptures, and he brought this up, but he didn't understand what it was really talking about. So, I'm going to use today as, an opportunity to bring this out, because this is one of those prophecies that when you understand it, it makes complete sense. But Revelation 8 and 11, it says, "And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter." And simply putting it, the star is really talking about a nuclear missile. And the reason, the waters are going to become wormwood, which means sour, right? Men are going to die of the waters because they're bitter, is because the radiation, of that bomb that is going to radiate the water and is going to become poisonous. Sour, bitter. That's what it's talking about. It's that simple. And, how do we know that, the stars is referring to, missiles? Well, when you go into Revelation chapter 6 and verse 13, it says, "And the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places." Right? So the stars of heaven, talking about the missiles, are going to drop down, and it's going to make the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, going into your mushroom cloud, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, right? Nuclear shockwave. It says, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains." Right? They're going to go and run to those bunkers to try to hide. So this is all painting the picture of nuclear destruction. And that's what it is, just simply putting it. So let's find another scripture that talks about the stars of heaven. Or Matthew 24:29. "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken." Right, so going into the nuclear destruction. And another scripture that talks about it, 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up." Right, so, what is going to make the elements melt with fervent heat and make the heavens pass away with a great noise? Nuclear destruction. And, if I'm going to just keep going down a list of scripture that talk about that. Isaiah 34 says the same thing as Revelation 36. It says, I'll start at verse 1. "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter." Right, so it's the Lord's will. As it says in Zephaniah, his determination is, let's get that. We're going to jump real quick. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8. "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." right? So it's his will. He is the one that is gathering these nations to World War III. Another scripture that talks about it, in Joel chapter 3 and verse 1, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and part of my land. Right, so the same point how it is the Lord that is doing the gathering. Okay, so where exactly was I at? Well, I completely slipped my mind. Isaiah 34. There we go. Isaiah 34 and verse 3 says, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Right, so the same thing John saw. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Right, and that sword is going into those missiles, and it's going to come upon you Edomites. Okay, the Edomites are the cursed of the Most High. Right, they are the wicked. So, this is what's coming, and that's why, you see how this is a spiritual problem. The only way to solve a spiritual problem is with a spiritual solution. Okay, the world is going to look for carnal solutions of stocking up and prepping and doing this and doing that. It's carnal. The only way you're getting out of this is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So I just want to make a quick hit on that. Hopefully this is edifying. With that, to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem HaKadosh. And double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of great mills to that time is truth. Shalom to elect. Shalom.